If you're a creative person and you're struggling, then keep watching. I'm gonna make a pretty good case that you need to find somebody who's better than you at other things. My business partner when I was running Mastering.com is a guy named Rob. So I remember when I first met Rob, we were in masterminds together. He was the other guy in music. So we got on the phone and he was just so eager to help immediately. There was one time where he was going to Turks and Caicos and needed to fly back to New York. So he said, do you want to meet up? And I said, sure. We met up in Central Park and we were not talking about business. We were talking about life and existential crises that we've been through. And when he got on the plane and left, I knew one thing: I want to partner with this guy. So it really led to this curiosity around how do I partner with Rob? So I think with this example, you need to focus on who, not what. It might be easy to go and say, okay, I'm really good at organizing and I'm really bad with people, so I'm gonna find a business partner that's good with people. But in my case, it wasn't that. It was, I like Rob, he's amazing, he really cares about me, and I just really want to partner with him. I was just impressed. To be honest with you, there were maybe 3 or 4 other people that I also wanted to partner with because I just really liked them or valued them. But Rob was the only one who was down. And I think a lot of ego gets in the way when you're looking for a business partner or somebody to work with, because it's, do we split it 50-50? How do we work out profit share? But with me and Rob, he just said, I want to find a way to make it work. I just thought to myself, if I can find somebody who's the exact same as me in terms of worldview, religion, then it's actually going to be a lot easier because we don't need to go over the hurdles. We're not coming from different worldviews. I found that to be the exact opposite. Sharing similar worldviews or similar religions actually get in the way because you use that sort of as a vice. So fast forward a couple months, I was talking with Rob. He was building out his program and he really needed an income portion within the program. And so he asked me, is this something you want to do? And I said, sure, I'd love to. And he said, what can I pay you for? And I said, I don't know. I was too busy running my own business. And so he asked me, what's the bottleneck? Just lay it out for me and I'll see if I can take care of it. So I said, okay, honestly, dude, it's the tech and ads. He said, what do you mean? I said, well, my tech's messed up. I need to build this out and that's gonna be a headache for me. And Rob just said, done. I will build out the tech and I will take care of the ads. If that is out of the way, can you make content? I'm like, yeah, awesome. And he did it very quickly, within a couple days, just like that. And it was unbelievably impressive. So when you're thinking about partnering with somebody, you really need to find somebody who can identify what the bottlenecks in your life and business are and who can actually address them. And that's exactly who Rob is and what he did. Okay, so fast forward a little bit longer, and we are seriously considering partnering. We said, okay, how are we gonna do this in a way that isn't mechanical? I feel like I have to get to know you. We can't just keep doing joint ventures. So I flew out to London and we met up. It was super cool. We were gonna work on business, but the most impactful time when I was there was we did this thing called Life Defining Moments Story, which is basically you just tell your story from birth to now. And throughout the story, there are times that are life-defining moments. And I remember we sat at a coffee shop in London and then we walked around. He just came out and just told me all this stuff about who he was and what he went through. And I felt like I've known the guy for 20 years at that point because he was open and honest and vulnerable to really share with me what he's been going through in life. When it was my turn, I felt like I could tell my story. He was loving and open and honest, even though I came from a different perspective. So having said all that, when you're looking to partner with somebody, it's really a marriage. So that means you got to get to know each other and not just talk about business or core competencies or any of that stuff. You have to get down to the bottom of who are you? Business is risky. If you trust and know and love the person, you understand where they're coming from and their story, then that is the ultimate lubricant, if you will, when times get tough. Okay, so we're in London. And we rented this awesome townhouse in Chelsea, and we just went to the simple premise of let's bring our teams together and do business. I remember there were times where I was pretty ruthless. I came in and I suggested that we cut lots of our team members and lots of his team members. There was so much revenue and not a lot of profit. And these are like Rob's people, his teammate, that he brought along with his journey. He never got defensive and he heard me out. We coached each other through that. And what was amazing about that moment was that was the first time that I saw Rob go, he's open to being wrong. He always wants to try anything, and he's just willing to listen and simply understand. And there were people on his team he trusted as well, and for me to come in and say, we need to do this, and then doing it, whether it was the right decision or not, he was open to it, which was an unbelievable act of humility. And that's where I knew, okay, he's a real business person. He's willing to be open about things and be wrong about things. It was really cool. So I'm telling you, if you're looking to partner with somebody, you cannot find somebody who's dogmatic and really strict about certain things, which is honestly like kind of how I am. And Rob's taught me to not be like that. What you really need is somebody who's being flexible and open to being wrong. That's the only way it really works. So after we've been working for quite some time, I'm realizing that he's everything that I'm not. Rob is organized, an operator, business person, detail-oriented. He saw strengths in people very clearly, and he was willing to work with some goofy American. And that was really impressive, because I'm thinking back at all the times where I thought that I was a bee's knees, but it's really not the case. I've talked about this before, where in business you really have 3 different types of roles, and this is mainly in the info product business. You have the subject matter expert, you have the operator, and then you have the content creator. And usually that person is one of those 3 hats. What I realized much later in business was that I was a subject matter expert, and that Rob was really the operator. He was the one who really was a true business person and really strapped on scalable systems in order to make the business grow. And I'm looking back going, I couldn't have done that without him. He came in and applied all of his business expertise, and we very quickly realized this is our pairing. And while I can do all of those things, he's really the magic behind it. That's what was really the catalyst for Mastering to be so successful. Now, him living in the UK and me living in the United States was difficult because Zoom got old really fast. I only went to London one time, and he was always in the States. I remember we spent some time in San Diego in La Jolla, and I remember a time we were downstairs in the living room. James was playing piano, and Rob would just sit next to him and just hang out with him. I'm seeing this in real time going, all that he's doing is pouring into my family and noticing my son. And that really showed he not only is an amazing business person, but he cares about me, he cares about my family, and that was a game changer. When we got to some hard decisions, he was never selfish. He always saw it through the lens of what would be best for Blake, what would be best for his little boy, which allowed me to be honest with him and trust him more and not hold any cards back. It's very rare you can find somebody like that. Fast forwarding quite a bit into the end of my involvement with the business, we were talking with a few people in order to scale our business or to sell our business. We could either work with Alex Hormozy, and there were lots of cooks in the kitchen, and I just saw this as a prime opportunity to, if we wanted to scale, one of us has to step out. And I genuinely thought Rob should be in the driver's seat of scaling this business. So I remember I called him, and I just said, hey dude, crazy idea, feel free to say no. What if you bought a portion of my business? Or what if you bought me out, basically? And that's what we should do. And he sat there for a second and said, that's a pretty good idea. It reminded me of all the times Rob was like this. That is, always open, always flexible, always was who he needed to be. At different stages of the business, he had to evolve and sacrifice himself in many ways to become the leader he needed to be for the success of the business. I could never do that. Honestly, not many 30-year-old type people can do. And I'm realizing, how did we do that? And it's because of trust. Trust is the best for business. I know that if we needed to make some major moves, we trust each other. And we built that through many years of working together. And so this is what's amazing about this. To this day, and I guarantee you for the rest of our life, we are still friends. How does that happen? It's because of him. He's willing to be friends with me no matter what. And I'm sitting here going, how did that happen? Every single person I talk to where there's a business partner involved and now there aren't, it's like something blew up. He knew from the beginning, I'm not going to compromise my relationship with Blake for some selfish venture. So when you're thinking about a business partner or anybody who can come alongside, you can't look at them as compartmentalized figures in your life. You have to find somebody who's going to be a lifelong friend, somebody that's going to care about you and love you and develop that trust no matter what happens. So this comes all back around to really finding out who you are and what you need. While I could be the subject matter expert and the operator and the content creator, the thing that skyrocketed the business was me partnering up with somebody who was so much better than me, and that's what led to the success of the business. So as you think through, maybe I can't do it all alone, or maybe I can find somebody who's better than me at all these other things. I hope you find somebody who can really check all of those qualities off that I've experienced with my business partner.